Greetings friends, my name is Pavel and now we will dive into the top news of this day. Ukrainian pilots can complete training on F-16 aircraft in 4 months. This opinion was voiced by the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Oleksiy Reznikov, in an interview with New York Times. According to our minister, Ukrainians know how to surprise. We really are. We know how to learn. We recalled that after testing our 2 pilots in the United States, it is believed that up to 6 months will be enough. According to Reznikov, it will be faster. Moreover, they will not just fly them, but really, with maneuver at night in pairs. As an example, the politician cited the story of the artillery crews on the Caesar systems. According to the standards, it takes at least 3 months to train the crew, and our guys mastered these systems in 3 weeks. The French, the Poles, were delighted, because they did not just take and complete the course, they actually completed all the tasks that are set for the crew, which is trained for 3 months. Patriot air defense systems. Standard crew training time is 10 months. Our trained man in 10 weeks. Just feel the difference. 3 months in 3 weeks. 10 months and 10 weeks. Therefore, I am sure that the pilots will fly faster than in 6 months. However, a pilot cannot fly alone. He needs engineers, technicians, maintenance, gunsmith, tankers, and so on. This is the hardest technique. This course of study is longer than 4 months, and if we have pilots who speak English, and they will master it faster, then there are somewhat fewer engineers and technicians. And this is a special technology. At the same time, Ukraine needs to prepare the infrastructure. We need to prepare airfields for this, prepare shelters, and we need to maintain them.
The main threat to the NATO countries is the Russian Federation for the next 10 years. It was stated at the Madrid summit. Ukraine is the only country in the world that has practical experience of resistance and victory using technology, weapons and the NATO standards. Therefore, it is in the common interest to unite with Ukraine in this collective security architecture. Our experience in applying their technologies, their training systems, all this is included in a single word: interoperability. This is beneficial to both parties in terms of security.
By the way, Denmark has already declared that it is ready to hand over F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine, but only as a part of the international coalition, and if the United States agrees. Acting Minister of Defense of Denmark, Troels Lund Poulsen, said this. According to Danish media, Denmark owns 43 F-16 fighters, of which 30 are an active part of the country's aviation. However, today, Danish F-16s are being replaced by more modern F-35 combat aircraft. Ukrainian pilots should soon arrive in Denmark, where they will be taught how to fly and maintain F-16 aircraft. Danish mass media note that Denmark and the Netherlands are leaders in training Ukrainian pilots. You can ask what Russia thinks about this. It doesn't matter to everyone, but still. Russia has declared a démarche in the UN Security Council's Nuclear 5 expert group in connection with the possibility of F-16 aircraft being prepared for transfer to Ukraine. This was stated by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the aggressor country, Sergei Lavrov. According to him, Russia is ready to give a military technical response if F-16 fighters appear over Ukraine. Recall that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin said that Russia could strike air bases outside of Ukraine if F-16 fighters are based there, which will be used in the war. Is it worse than what Russia has already done and can do in the future? In my opinion, this is a rhetorical question. Dmitry Peskov said that the task of demilitarizing Ukraine was largely accomplished. According to the Putin spokesperson, Ukraine was heavily militarized at the time of the so-called special military operation. And as Putin said, one of the tasks was the demilitarization of Ukraine has been largely accomplished. He explained that now Ukraine is using its weapons less and more and is relying more on Western weapons systems that Western countries supply to it. Peskov also added that now Western countries are getting more and more into the conflict, thereby becoming its side. It is strange that Peskov did not say anything about Iran or North Korea. After all, they are also increasingly getting into the war. For example, the invaders began to actively use Iranian-made kamikaze drones in the war against Ukraine, the use of which allows the enemy to strike without spending scarce missiles. By the end of May, the Russian Federation had already used 1,100 such drones in Ukraine. The Air Force reported that Russia is now receiving enough UAVs from Iran to attack them daily. And if before the deliveries were in small batches and with the help of cargo planes, now the deliveries are larger and go through the Caspian Sea, according to the British intelligence. But still, back to the successful Ukrainian demilitarization. Indeed, we are less and less using the weapons and shells that we had before the war. After all, most of this military equipment was old Soviet developments. But now our soldiers have learned to use more modern and more effective Western weapons. At the same time, it is varied. We use armored vehicles, tanks, artillery, MLRS from different countries, and all efficiently. Moreover, on the front line, Ukrainians are also fighting thanks to drones bought with their own money or with the fees of Ukrainians. Yes, we here in the rear take care of our soldiers, and if necessary we can collect money for drones, thermal images, cars, which are used as consumables in the war. Often the spare parts are paid for by the soldiers themselves and the wounded, because the armed forces of Ukraine do not have enough money for this. But you know what is enough? The desire to expel the occupiers from our land. That's why we study new technologies. That's why we are not afraid to ask for help from our partners. And that's why our soldiers learn to fly the F-16. We have already managed to establish the creation of drones. And you know, the situation is more like what is happening in the demilitarization of Russia, if you look at the weapons that the Russian Federation was forced to reopen. Russian propaganda spreads fakes about the alleged wound or death of the head of the main Directorate of Intelligence, Kirill Budanov. Oh God, again. At the beginning of the war, they said that Zelensky left Kiev. 2 months before, they killed Zaluzhny, and now Budanov. Will it ever end? These deliberate fakes of the Kremlin's propaganda machine. Budanov is alive in good condition and performs his official duties. This is not the first time such messages have appeared. Every time the lie was refuted. Previously, Russian propaganda had already hidden or sent to a hospital bed Valery Zaluzhny, Alexander Syrsky, and other military leaders. Russian propaganda seeks to demoralize Ukrainians with disappointing news and create a sense of loss of control over the situation. Another goal of propaganda is for their representatives of the command to make excuses and lead them to appear in public, thus additionally showing their location, current activities, etc. Enemy manipulations will not achieve their goals because no one has believed them for a long time and does not succumb to obvious provocations. Budanov was taken out from under the rubble and evacuated by helicopter to Poland. Before that, he was hit by a wall and he died without regaining consciousness. By the way, to be more significant, they even quote the German magazine Bild. The European media wrote that they did not write anything like that. On the contrary, they wrote about how disinformation is being spread in the Kremlin. But even in this, Russia something has recently not been very good. In the situation with Budanov, they cannot even agree on exactly when the blow took place. Some say May 29th, others last Friday. This is when there was a delegation from Africa in Kiev, and the politicians themselves who arrived said that they had not heard the explosions. Then the Russian media tried to prove that the missile strikes and the alarm were staged by Ukraine. Of course, the staging because they couldn't get anywhere. All the Caliber and Kinzhal missiles that flew to Kiev were shut down by air defenses. That concludes our today's video. Thank you for watching. Stay updated. Subscribe to our UATV English channel for more news from Ukraine. Your support really matters. Goodbye.